What's up, everyone? This is Big Poner, and this is the Pyroclast Miner killing a Metamorph. So, honestly, this build is like a really good build for someone that's not like really good at the game yet. So, like, maybe for like someone that's newer, and there's more to it than just that. Um, you can actually outfit this build like really cheaply. Like, I mean, I told you guys originally in the video where I was like rushing the character and stuff like that. I had like 2 exalts invested. I obviously have more invested now. That's what I do. I get a character and I start upgrading its gear, and then I share the upgrade videos with you guys so that you guys can get the same types of upgrades. Which, oh man, it's only an 82. I'm looking for a wand to craft with, so I will show you guys how to craft a super good wand, because you know we started with a really cheap wand, and that's still going to hold true for someone that's just getting into this. But once you get a build running and you're able to, you know, do tier 16 Awakener 8s, you're going to obviously start making some more currency. The thing is I think that there was some doubt in the amount that I actually spent on my build previously. And why would there be doubt? There would be doubt because people didn't have the knowledge on how to get equipped into the gear that I had that cheaply. So I'm going to go over some of the items. And some of the items I don't still have, but I'm going to tell you how I made comparable items very cheaply and reliably. I do still have some of the items that I originally had in the video, and it's because I made them cheaply and they weren't the worst item that I had on my character. This is an excellent example. This item cost me less than a chaos to craft. How did I do that? I simply got a base, which I found, and I happened to get it from, I think, a blight. But it dropped with the percent increased movement speed, so I was like, I'm gonna craft with this, and I need some energy shield boots. The thing that I will have you notice on this is the first mod is to maximum energy shield, and the prefix is essences. So this tells you exactly how I crafted this. I used essences. And did I use a top tier essence? No. Could I have used a top tier essence very cheaply? Yes, the highest tier essence of woe is only 5 chaos. I, however, used the fourth up in the ring, so 4 down from number 1. So if we look at that, it takes 3 of those to make the next tier, 3 of those to make the next tier, and 3 of those to make the next tier. To give you an idea of how cheap these essences, it would take 9 to make, 3 to make the first one, 9 to make the next one, 27 to make the next one, and 60, 81 to make one top tier that's worth 5 chaos. If you've been following my videos and you've been collecting all this stuff, you probably have some of these, because that's pretty much what I did. Is I had a bunch of these and I went ahead and not this one. Um, so as you can see, for boots, the 18 to 26, which is what I have on these. These are very, 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 very cheap, and you know, you do see me put on really expensive gear, but when I'm just trying to outfit a character in the beginning to get it running, I just want to get stuff on there because I don't know what I'm going to need. I'm going to obviously go with, I've taught this to you guys, I start off by crafting the hardest to get items. And then the other items that I have more leniency on, I build around. And then when I have gaps, I buy stuff that fits those gaps so that my build works. But how I get a build started is very, very cheaply. Even if I have a bunch of currency to invest, I just want to get him outfitted so that he works. And obviously by the videos showing him working, at my 2 exalts, which like half of my currency spent was on a ring. And I want to touch on this. Why is it that I told you to go out and get an Assassin's Mark ring? I consider all of these things when I suggest things to players. I'm considering that, you know, a broad scape of the players are not going to be able to afford, for instance, a 13 exalt flask. So I'm not going to recommend that and be like, go out and get this 13 exalt flask because I can afford it, you surely can. Well, that would not be a very good way to make videos for all users. Is that something that I could add to this build without changing the structure of the build? Yes. Will I probably do that? Yes. But is that how I'm going to target this build and craft this build for a general audience? No. It's kind of like my ice shot build. I made a build that is reasonable for anyone to get into, that works to efficiently farm currency really well and do all content. But is that what I kept? No. Did I suggest that you go out and spend multiple mirrors on gear? No. Do I still give you the options by posting crafting videos and telling you, pick your own crafts that you can afford, but this is what I'm doing? I'm giving you the knowledge. But I'm not going to craft something that's unreasonable for 99% of the players. So if I tell you that I spent 2 exalts on something and you don't believe me, ask. And I'll do a video like this and I'll teach you how I did it. So this is the most expensive item I originally suggested. The thing that I want you to notice is there's a lot of things on this. I bought this as a 5-stat item. There's a lot of things on this, or actually it was only a 4-stat item. I bought this with a lot of things on it that were just bad stats for the build, and I still have that. There's 2 things on this build that do on this ring that do absolutely nothing for me. I have lightning damage, I have accuracy, and I have a really, really low tier strength roll. You can essentially consider this like a 2-stat item when I bought it. And then, of course, I crafted on the faster start of energy shield recharge, which, that's obviously like 3 or 4 chaos for that craft. Ring. Faster energy shield. Where is it? Alright, we'll just type it in. What the heck? 4 chaos. And that's something to consider when you're buying an item. But obviously, if I went out and I looked for an item that had all good stats on it that I needed, do you think I would have been able to buy this for 1 exalt? Of course not. What were my search conditions? My search conditions on this ring was 40 energy shield and the assassin's mark. Those are the only things that I was looking for because I was looking for a cheap ring to start off with. Is it possible that I'm going to craft one later on, or that I'm going to buy one later on that's going to cost me, 6 to 10 exalts? Yes, that's very possible and very probable because I will have the currency to do so. But what is it that we really need from this? Just energy shield is nice, and we need the assassin's mark. We need the assassin's mark to boost our crit chance, because the direction that this build is going is crit chance, crit multiplier, because we want that big hit damage. You saw how much damage I was doing. I don't really have a lot of stuff adding damage at this point. So that answers the question of these 2 things. As far as the shield, the shield is not super expensive if we're only looking for, energy shield and the reduced mana reservation. The thing is, as I explained this in the video, is, I'm using a level 3 enlightened support. This gives you a lot of different choices in this video. And why does it give you a lot of different choices in this video? Because the thing is it's not even actually required. It is more of a luxury. Is it possible that I might not even end up using a reduced mana reservation shield? Yes. Why is that? Because there's a lot of other options that I can go for, and by requiring that, it would make it hard. Let's see, for instance, if I take out the enlightened support, I still have plenty of mana that I can operate my mines and my skills. And what is it that we're stacking? We're going to be stacking mana, so you're going to be getting more mana through your tree. So that's going to make it easier and easier with less reserved mana to do that. We're also getting reserved mana nodes, reduced mana reserve nodes in our tree. So if, for instance, I were to not even be using this, let me see if I have a shield. I could do a different combination, basically. and the build would still work. And that's kind of what I was trying to tell you guys, is you don't have to have exactly, all right, this will work. Okay, so this is with no enlighten and no shield. I still have 245 mana, and I'm still a low level character. I'm level 84. So I'm gonna have naturally more mana, and I'm gonna have more points to put into stuff. So this shield wasn't even required. And what was that I gave you options for? You can use an enlighten to make it a little bit less constricting on your mana. So my example was a cheap Enlighten level 3 that I failed trying to make a level 4. Did I say you have to go out and buy level 4 Enlighten for 6 exalts? No. But is that an option? Yes. But it's not something that's required to make the build work. So you don't have to go out and get a super expensive shield. This isn't a super expensive shield that I started with. I have a nice percentage energy shield, and I bought it like this with just the reduced mana reservation, 4-stat item with, you know, low cold res. It's not an ideal item. That's why I was able to get this cheap. If I had looked for, you know, a 6-stat item with everything on it, like if I wanted a tier 1% crit and, you know, or a +1 to fire spell skill gems, yeah, this would be like a 20 exalt item. But am I suggesting that as the first thing? No, I'm saying the reduced mana reservation is nice, but you want to get energy shield, and you don't need it. And I've just given that example. So if you can't find something that works like this, you could go with a cheap Enlighten, because obviously I still have enough mana here. And if I were to add this Enlighten, if this was linked and had 3 blue sockets, I could demonstrate that, it would reduce this cost. And, you know, a failed level 3 Enlighten, if you just want to get one to be able to reduce your mana reservation to give your mana a little bit of breathing room, you could probably get that for a couple exalts. A couple chaos, because when people fail them, they're basically garbage. So, you know, an 8% reduction buying something that's basically garbage. Someone's going to be happy to sell you their failed Enlighten, and then what is it that we can do? We can take and level Enlightens in our off items, and then hopefully we'll hit a level 4. So, you know, that's how you can eventually upgrade that item without having to make that 6 exalt investment. Will I probably wind up buying one? Yeah, because I've already rolled like 5 of them and I still don't have one. My luck is terrible with those. Hopefully your guys' luck will be better. But realistically, there's a chance that you could roll a bunch of them like me and not get it. So it may be something eventually you want to buy, but it's not required for the build. This was something that I bought. Once again, it's something that's not required. And the only thing that makes this expensive, which was 2 exalts, which isn't really that expensive, was the shocking conflicts. And honestly, I think I paid 2 exalts for it because it had the only honestly, I think I paid more that much even for it because it had the increased flicker strike damage, which doesn't do anything for me. I just really wanted a shocking conflux helm, and I've explained to you the reason why I like that. Later, I'm going to do a crafting video to make a shocking conflux helm for my archer character. So if you can't find one that's good for your build, I will have a video out on how to make one once you have the currency to do so, which it's not the cheapest craft, but it won't be the most expensive one either. So you can look forward to that. The only required item that I said you had to have, this is our only unique item, is the Chevron's Wraps. At the time I said 75 chaos. And why is it that I said that? I say what I can realistically get them for. But the simple fact is these aren't even 75 chaos anymore. So right now, they're starting at 30 chaos, 60 chaos. There's one at 30, but it's corrupted. You're not going to want that. So 60 chaos. There's a bunch of them at 60 chaos. And then there's a bunch more at 65 chaos. 67 chaos. Let's look at the very bottom of the list. So the most, if hundreds of people go out and start buying these, 90 chaos. So there's a ton of them. And they're not that expensive. And realistically, you could probably go in for like in that range of 75 chaos. So not that expensive. This wand. I got a corrupted wand. That's not super... It's going to be a little bit better for 10 chaos than what you will get on a non-corrupted one. But that's something I mentioned. This is just something to start me out. And realistically, a lot of the stuff on here really ain't helping me. Increased burn damage and ignite are really not helping me that much. Why is this? Because this is not a burn-based build. We apply burn because we're going to be adding damage, which that's going to come into other items I'm going to suggest for you guys to look for because they're really cheap. Originally, I had cheaply crafted gloves that I did like this, and you know, that's an option for pretty much everything. It's also an option for your belt, because, which, you know, I have a really nice one because I've invested in it, but originally it was, you know, one that I just spammed. But how can we guarantee that we get a higher energy shield? We can go back to the essence of woe. I can buy a base crystal belt. I would recommend getting an 85, because eventually you might, if it doesn't come out great, and eventually you have currency and you want to craft a nicer one, then you'll already have a good base, and they're cheap. I was buying these yesterday. The first one was one chaos. The most I paid, just because I hit up a bunch of people, and whoever responds first, I buy from. Because some people, for that cheap of an item, they're not gonna. The only way they're gonna sell to you is if they happen to be available. You know, no one's gonna jump out of, or most people aren't gonna jump out of maps to sell you a 1 or 2 chaos item. It just simple fact that's not, a lot of people won't do that. So for like 5 chaos you can get the base, and then even if you want to use the highest tier essence of woe, is what is it we really need on this? We just need a high energy shield, because what is our initial goal? It's to get enough energy shield so we can't get one-shotted, which is not very hard if we just focus on energy shield. Which, what is it I originally had? I just had a lot of energy shield, and that's what I focused on my tree till I got around 7,000 energy shield, 6,000, 7,000 energy shield, and that gave me enough buffer that I was able to, at really low level, easily, well, I didn't even have 6,000 when I did merciless, but it gave me a buffer so that I could easily do my all of my ascendancies and jump into really high tier maps and start leveling really fast. Which, I mean, I haven't really leveled that fast. I'm 84 now, and you know, when I originally made the video I was 76, but literally all of my time has gone into videos in the last couple days. I think I've played like 10 maps, which, you know, is realistic, because it only takes 1 or 2 maps at tier 16 at this low of a level to gain a level. But we have so many places that you can just fit stuff in. What is it that you need? You need stats to make stuff work. But I've also given you the option. I told you guys to skeleton your tree. What is it that skeletoning our tree does? It gives us access to 30%, 30 to physical. What does it gives us over here? 30 to physical, to strength. So you can add 60 to strength in your tree with just 2 points. It's the same thing with our dexterity. So this gives us a really easy fix, even if you don't have the gear. Eventually you're going to want to get gear that has those stats, but that's a lot of strength. That's, you know, my amulet's pretty nice for filling in those spots. But, and something I am going to suggest is, when you do your anointment, a really cheap anointment that's really strong is this Sanctify, because it gives us a 1% life regen, which is really nice because we're going to be focusing on getting the Zealot's Oath really early. It also gives us 10 more strength, which strength and intelligence, so that's 2% max energy shield. So this gives us a total of 12% max energy shield, 20% increased armor, no one cares. But it gives us more strength and the regeneration, and this is a really cheap anointment. I wound up switching it. I had it as like Light Eater because I would just wanted to throw something cheap on there, and honestly that's not really I mean, 24% damage on full energy shield. I would rather go for this. This was a really big increase. It was like an extra 300 energy shield with my stuff up, which now I'm sitting at like 75, 53 energy shield, which, as you could just see on high tier maps on Awakener 8, is enough that I can basically face tank, well, I can face tank metamorphs and bosses. That's why I'm saying this is going to be a really friendly build for people that, you know, aren't super great at the game. It's going to be very friendly. It's not the fastest build. I'm honest about the builds, but you can gear this really cheaply, and you can have a build that's going to be pretty friendly because it's going to be pretty forgiving. Because if you follow, you know, the tree and stuff like that, you're going to be able to have a build that can do really hard content. Or if you're doing easier content, it's just going to make that easier content like really easy. It's a very forgiving build. So use the methods that I've taught. It's mainly, I did the video on choosing how to craft. You guys should watch that. That should help you figure out how to get stuff. Search the market for cheap items. If you don't have a lot to invest, don't spend it all on one item. You gotta make some sacrifices, basically. Like, you can't start off in top tier gear and expect to get it cheaply. Top tier gear costs a lot because it's rare, it's hard to get. People aren't going to just give it away. So you got to use tools to get yourself in stuff that works, and then as you generate the currency, upgrade those items. And how do we upgrade the items? We upgrade whatever we can get the largest increase in. So, you know, some of my starting items were not as strong as others. But then I got to think, how much can I gain on this item? Like, even though this, you know, was a very cheap craft, I've got 130 energy shield on it, 20 of 2 resistances, almost a 5% increased energy shield due to, well, it would be a 5% increase because I've got 8% increased intelligence, so that's going to give me at least one, you know, so 25 intelligence. It's going to be 5% increased energy shield. So these aren't good, but they're not bad. The thing is like really, 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 really good energy shield boots are going to be like 200 energy shield, somewhere around there. But what's a really cheap option for you guys? It's even cheaper and guaranteed than the essences. For 1 chaos, you can get, where are they? Victoria's. I might have thrown them away. Maybe they're in here. I might have put them aside. Oh no, I think I threw them away. Oh, I might have put them up for sale because they were perfect rolls. Where are you, Victario's? It's Victario's flight, but it gives up to 150 energy shield on and not Victario's. That was the one that I was like, no. It's why am I? No, I had to. I don't think I would have thrown them away. They were perfect. Man, I might have had them like in my inventory for. I had to have done something stupid with them, like put them in the. Oh, here we go. Syntrex. I think I put these. These are like 1% off of perfect, so that's the reason why I put these aside. They should have just gone into my. I might have put these aside for video, but these boots are 1 chaos. Like, and there's tons of them for 1 chaos. And this will give you 30% movement speed. So this item is basically arguably better than the boots that I'm wearing, and you can guarantee them for 1 chaos. So there you go. There's your boots. The reason why I wanted to do the essence thing is because, you know, that's something that you probably have. You probably have some essence of woe, and you can probably use those to roll yourself a crystal belt or roll yourself some gloves, and all you have to do is go buy the bases. I told you what bases to use. So fingerless silk gloves, crystal belt, Huber circlet. You can try your luck at rolling some of that stuff very cheaply. But I would also suggest looking for, you know, like a Huber circlet, for instance. What is it I told you to do on this? You just want to have high energy shield and hopefully get some stats that you need, because you just need, in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 items. You need to get a mishmash of the stats that you need so that you have good resistances and a bunch of energy shield. That's like all that you really need to get the character started. So I'm not going to go through every item, but we'll do the hubris circlet, and we'll see if we can find a cheap. And honestly, it doesn't even have to be a hubris circlet if you're planning on replacing it right away. So let's start off with, close to mine, 250 energy shield, no other requirements. Let's see what we can find. 2 chaos, 3 chaos, 3 chaos, 4 chaos. And on these there's space to craft. So a bunch of them for 5 chaos. Yeah, like tons for 5 chaos. I'm just scrolling through. Alright, now they're at 7. Tons at 7. And there's a bunch of these that are higher energy shield than mine. 280, 278, lots of 255s. Lots of them even have space for crafting, and they're already over that energy shield, which what can you do with the crafting? You can put on what you need. So let's say 5 chaos for this. You have 1 chaos for your boots. Let's look at, and we'll call this 75. Even though you can buy them for 60, the one for 30, it's corrupted. We're not counting that. So we're still going to count this as 75. So helm plus chest, that's 80 chaos. Plus our boots, that's 81 chaos. Let's see what we can get some gloves for. Fingerless silk gloves. And this is searching on the best type bases. You have to understand that. I could search any base with just 250 energy shield and I would find stuff even cheaper. Same thing with the silk gloves, but we get the 16% increased spell damage on the implicit modifier on this, so that's nice. So let's just say, let's do 140 energy shield, and that'll be our only requirement. It's being a little slow. 2 chaos with an open suffix is the first one, and it's got lightning resistance, mana. Next one, 3 chaos. It's got an open one, but it's already crafted onto to give it 157 energy shield. We have tons of them. I mean, here's one for 30 alts. It's a 5 stat. So it already has the 140 energy shield requirement, and it's got an open stat. No Athena. Stop it. Tons for 5 chaos. Lots of open. No. A dog's like, who are you talking to? There's tons of them. So let's even say you go for one that's a little bit nicer and you spend 7 chaos. We're at 88 chaos. We now have our helm, we have our chest, we have our gloves, we have our boots. So assuming you get the assassin's mark, I said 1 exalt because that's what I paid. You could go cheaper on that. Let's go for that now. And we already covered the shield. You can get a wand if you're not specific on that. I'm not going to go through every item. Like I said, I'm not going to go through all your rings. You can do what I did and, get one with an implicit that already has 30 energy shield. And what are the resistances I have on this? They're both below 30. This is not a super desirable ring. And then I crafted onto it to give myself more resistances. So this worked out really good for me, but this wasn't an expensive. This is a little bit better. I mean, I've got mana, which does something for me. I've got the energy shield, which is good for me. But it's got physical damage on it, which is, giving the item value, but it's not really helping me because, flat physical damage is usually going to make an item more valuable, but for this character, it does nothing for me. So the last item we're gonna look at is what the market is at now, because I've already suggested to go out and get the Assassin's Mark. So if a bunch of people are making this build, they've already probably gone out and bought some. So the market should have gone up a little bit. Let's see what it would cost us to get an Assassin's Mark ring. and we were at 88. I'm going to go ahead and throw the belt in here. I'm going to assume, since the most I paid yesterday was 5 chaos for a base, and that was skipping over stuff just to get a faster response. We're going to say 5 chaos, you're able to find a base, and then let's say you know, buy the highest tier essence because you just want a lot of energy shield and you're going to accept anything else that's on there. So you spend the 5 chaos. We're going to call this 10 chaos. So we're at 98 chaos. So, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of your items at 98 chaos. So now we're going to look at the most expensive item that I originally told you guys that you guys should get. If you can't afford this right away, don't get it. If you want to get better stuff in other places, do that. But you're going to want to get an Assassin's Mark ring, because it's going to add a lot of damage to the build, and it's the cheapest way to do that. Alright, Assassin's Mark on hit, and I'm not just going to search Assassin's Mark. I'm also going to add the prerequisite of 2 maximum energy shield. We will put in the same number that I used in my original search, which was 40, and we're going to search. The cheapest one is 30 chaos, and that has regeneration, which is good. It has chance to shock. It has the level 8 Assassin's Mark. It's got an open prefix, so we could craft something onto it. They've crafted life onto it, but that's not really going to help us. So the first ring on the market is 30 chaos. And what did I say you'd probably spend? An Exalt. And doing this search just now, let's look at the next one. This is a 5-stat item. It is a diamond ring, which gives us crit chance in our implicit, which is really good. It has 44 to maximum energy shield, which is a same tier, tier 1. So tier 1 energy shield. It has mana. It also has mana, intelligence, mana regeneration, and a level 4 Assassin's Mark. This is really nice. Honestly, I should probably buy this for 40 chaos. This is a really nice one. And what's the next one? 50 chaos. This is a 2 stone ring, so this would help with your resistances. It has a open prefix, the Assassin's Mark, a low cold resistance, 3 life gained on kill, lightning damage. So this is kind of more like mine. You know, it's got several stats we don't want. It's got an open prefix, so you would be able to craft on your percentage energy shield regen. So this would be very comparable to mine. Except it has resistances in the top instead of the extra energy shield, but it still has the 40 to maximum energy shield. That's a really nice one for 50 chaos. We have another one that's a 3-stat item. So this is one that you could buy, and if you plan to later craft onto it. So if you wanted to get something cheap, and then eventually you pay the 2 exalts, and then you upgrade it by getting to add 2 mods to it. 50 chaos. We have another one. This one is like mine. It has, it's this Moonstone Ring for 60 chaos. It has global critical strike chance. It has the Assassin's Mark and 42 to maximum energy shield. And they put attack modifier quality on it, so that doesn't help us. But this is comparable to my ring for 60 chaos. The next one is also a Moonstone Ring. It's a level 12 Assassin's Mark. It has Herald of Ice, that doesn't help us. Reflects elemental damage taken. This one I would skip on. This one is a good one. It's a 3-stat. Once again, if you wanted to go for something that you could upgrade later, it's 3 stats with a crafted on energy shield. It's a Moonstone Ring for 60 chaos. You guys get the idea. So I actually told you that it was going to cost you more than you could realistically get something good. If I would have spent more time looking, just from doing this little tiny bit of searching, I could have gotten a better ring for less currency. And how is it that I knew that was going to be possible? Because before I suggest things to players, I go look and see how much of them are on the market. Because I'm considering, is 10 people going to take my advice, and the first 5 people are going to buy the only ones on the market, and then they're going to cost 10 exalts? no, I'm not going to do that. Realistically, I've got a couple hundred followers, or close to 200 followers at this point in time. I'm going to look at it and be like, probably some of these people are gonna actually want to do this build. So is there realistically a range that people are going to be able to buy this? To give you an idea, if I scroll all the way to the bottom of the listings, the most expensive ones on the market are 2 exalts. And these are like a lot better. Like diamond ring with tier 1 energy shield, tier 1 lightning resistance, 22% reduced effective curses on you, curse enemies with level 8 assassin's mark, and it's got open prefix and suffix. So this would be an exalt slam and craft on something that we want. I could add the percentage increase energy shield and then exalt slam it and hope I get another resistance. That would be an extremely strong ring, and some of these are actually like really nice. Like I might actually end up upgrading mine. I was planning on possibly like this one's really nice. So there's really nice stuff on the market. This one has 40 maximum energy shield, tier 1 resistance, level 12 assassin's mark with a open prefix. And it's got lightning damage, so that's one stat that's not good. So I probably wouldn't buy that one. If I'm gonna buy something, I would go for something that I could turn into like an endgame one. The point is there's a lot in everyone's price range. You have to understand, if I only have the 2 exalts to invest, I can't buy a 2 exalt ring. I'm going to probably want to buy one of those 30, 40, 50, 60 chaos ones. So let's say I get one in the middle and spend like 70 chaos. So I get something a little bit nicer, which I found some that were for less than an exalt that were nicer than mine. So let's say you buy one of those, like 70, 80 chaos. So what are we at now? We were at, was it 88 or 98? We'll call it 98. We'll just say there's extra currency in there. Let's call it 100. We're at 180 chaos. I spent 10 chaos for this, and I don't even remember what I paid for this. Not very much. The point is you basically have 3 things that you need to grab, and you've spent 180 chaos, so you have like 60 more chaos to grab 3 more items. And the average cost of the item that we're buying, if you were to break it up by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items at 100 chaos, that would mean the average cost of our items is 20 apiece. And obviously the main item cost is on 2 items. So that's very realistic that, with the extra 60 chaos, which, we threw a little extra cost in there, maybe you try to gamble a little bit on some essences or something. I don't know. We'll just give you some extra little leeway in there. We've got 20 chaos to get each one of these items. So if you can't do it with what I just told you, then that is your own fault. It's no fault of mine, because I've just told you how you can very cheaply, very efficiently, guaranteed get yourself into something that's comparable to what I had. I hope that this helps you guys. You guys saw me play this build in really cheap gear. It's obviously getting better. So, once you invest a little bit more, of course, it's going to get stronger. As you get to a higher level, it's going to get stronger. Like, this build is going to get so much stronger just by having more levels, which if you start the way that I told you to start, which is, initially focus on branching your tree, get some shield up, focus on just buying energy shield in the beginning. This makes it so you're going to die less, which means it's going to be easier to level and get those easy levels faster. So that's what you guys should do. Do this. You'll be happy. You'll enjoy it. I hope this helps you guys. Peace.